The call between President Trump and Russia's Vladimir Putin ended with Moscow agreeing to a partial ceasefire covering attacks on infrastructure and energy targets. For more on this, let's bring in CBS News senior White House correspondent Weijia Jiang. Weijia, good morning to you. What is President Trump saying about his call with Putin, and how is Ukraine's president feeling about what's being discussed?
Well, good morning, Errol. President Trump says that the discussions went well. We know that the two leaders spoke for nearly 2 hours. And even though it did not end with a broader ceasefire deal that the president was hoping for, that the U.S. has already brokered and Ukraine has agreed to, it is notable that Vladimir Putin agreed to at least a partial ceasefire on energy and infrastructure. And the White House is viewing this as a critical next step in the peace process to ultimately, of course, ending this conflict. So President Trump says it went well. As for Zelenskyy, the Ukrainian president, we just heard from him a short time ago, and he says that he wants to hear more, and he plans to speak with Trump today to do just that.
And on a domestic issue, Weijia, last night the president spoke about some of the pushback he's received for criticizing a judge who ruled against him on immigration. Let's just briefly play for our viewers what he said.
We have bad judges. We have very bad judges, and these are judges that shouldn't be allowed. I think at a certain point you have to start looking at what do you do when you have a rogue judge.
What's the context to what he's saying, and what's the reaction you're hearing to that this morning?
So it's really important to know, Errol, that at the beginning of that soundbite, the president was asked if he thought he could defy a court order, and he very clearly said, no, you can't do that. So even though he is criticizing this judge, he is not saying that he believes that he can just do whatever he wants, despite what the judge said. Now, this case in particular is one that we've been covering extensively. You may remember those flights that took off from the U.S. that went to El Salvador that carried Venezuelan migrants. The White House claims most of them are gang members, but there was a federal judge who issued an order and basically said that the planes had to turn around and come back. And so the president criticized him, and actually he went on yesterday and posted on Truth Social calling him a radical left lunatic. And so you can see what he wrote right here, the radical left lunatic of a judge. Like many of the crooked judges I am forced to appear before should be impeached. Of course, as you noted at the top of this hour, Errol, Chief Justice John Roberts with the Supreme Court issued a very rare rebuke of the president and said, that it's basically not appropriate to criticize these federal judges who should not be impeached. And he says that's exactly why the appellate court system exists, basically telling the White House that if you don't like the decision, you should appeal, but you should not call for a judge to be impeached.
Which was also the same remarks that immigration judge gave in speaking to the administration and saying if you disagree with a ruling, appeal. That's how these matters are settled. Weijia, great to get your insight on this morning. Thanks so much.